Welcome back everyone, and in this video we will be fixing the bug that we had last time. And before we do that, let me just show you how. Suppose like you just close your code blocks window and you open it again, then you can't see any project over here. So in that case, there are two ways of like opening your project again. You can either do open an existing project over here and open this up like the tutorial.cbp or whatever you named your project.cbp, or you could just open this recent projects link and it'll open up. Now this is the code that we had last time, and let me comment this out first, and I'll introduce you to what's called the if statement. And the if statement does basically exactly like it sounds. So you write if, and then you open the bracket and close it, and then you open a curly bracket and close it. The curly brackets are the keys beside your P key on your keyboard. You just have to press shift and just press those keys and it'll do that. So basically what you do is between these brackets is something that you provide, like you provide a condition, and if that is true, then this code right here will be run, otherwise it won't be run. Okay, so let's have a condition called if 3 is greater than, if 3 is greater than. Now you can do this if 3 is greater than and 1. Now obviously it is true, right? This is called a I believe a relational operation, relational comparison. But anyways, so now I can say cout um, the condition is true. Let me just change that to 2 actually. Alright, now if I build and run this, you'll see that it says the condition is true. Now however, if I use if 3 is greater than 3, in that case it'll not say anything because 3 is not greater than 3. In that case, what we can do is use this thing called equal to. Now what this will do is basically it'll check if 3 is greater than or equal to 3, then it'll execute something over here. So if we run this, you can see that it says the condition is true. Another way to do this is to check if 3 is equal to 3, but for that you don't use a single equal to, you use a double equal to. It's just how C++ works. Basically you use if 3 equals 3. If you use single equals, let me show you that. Okay, if I said if 3 equal to 2, okay, and if I run this, it'll show me an error. Even if I said if 3 equal to 3, and if I run this, it'll still show me an error, if you can see over there. So basically you need to use 3 double equals to 3, and then if you click build and run, then it'll say the condition is true. You can do the same with variables also. Now if I was to have a variable, int a equals 1 and int b equals 2, now what I can do over here, if a equals, now even in variables, if I said only 1 equal to, you'll see that now a is 1 and b is 2. 1 is not equal to 2, but if I said this with a single equal to, look what happens. It says the condition is true. That is because it is setting a to the value of b. We don't want that to happen. We wanted to compare. To compare, you use double equal to, as I said before. So if I run this again, and it wait a minute, yeah, because a is not equal to b, it won't run this code. Now what if I wanted to check if a is not equal to b? In that case, I'll just do if a not equal to b. This is basically the exclamation mark, which you can do if you press shift and 1, and then it'll check if these two are not equal to each other, and since they are not equal, it'll say the condition is true. All right, so now let me show you one more thing. If you do else, okay, and it's the same thing, you write else and then you do curly braces. So what else does is it checks whether if this condition is not true, then it'll run this code. Okay, then we can say cout the condition is false. Okay, now let's build and run this real quick, and it says the condition is true because a is not equal to b. Now if I say if a equals b, the condition will be false because a is 1, b is 2, a 1 is not equal to 2. So that means this will be returned as false, so it'll execute this code. um, so if I build and run this, it'll say the condition is false. Now let's incorporate this into the code that we had earlier. So I'm going to remove that, I'm going to uncomment this, and yeah, so let's use this. We'll say if um, now we need to check if b is equal to 0, right? So if we say b equals 0, and then we'll execute this code where we'll say cout, and we can say the denominator can not be 0. Okay, and then we do an else over here, and in here we can just cut and paste this, remove this from here, and paste it right here. Okay, so just a minute, there we go. All right, so now what it'll do is, okay, first let me set the variables over here. This is what the computer is doing basically. All right, first let me set int a, int b, and int answer. Now I'll ask the user first number, and he'll enter a. Then we'll say second number, and he'll say b. All right, now I need to check whether b is equal to 0. All right, b is equal to 0. If b is equal to 0, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to skip this part. If b is not equal to 0, I'm going to be using this part. All right, so now let's build and run this. Now it works normal with any other number basically. First number is 4, second number is 2, and if you do quotient is 2, just the way you expect it to do. Now however, if we enter something like first number is 2, second number is 0, in that case it will say the denominator cannot be 0. And yes, that's what I wanted to explain in this video. In the next one, we'll be getting into a bit more complex operations. And yeah, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.